Welcome back, everyone, to episode 87 of Talkin ATL Hawks. We're back with another banger. I'm just gonna get right into it. How are you guys feeling after a fantastic Hawks draft? I'm not gonna say fantastic draft. Well, screw it. Fantastic draft in general because of all the mocks that we got correct. At least me and Chase went bar for bar. Somehow me and Chase got like almost the exact same like mock that I don't know how because we were together when we did. I did mine the morning of, and I'm assuming that y'all did yours the morning of either. When y'all were at work, but fellas, how y'all doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I guess I'll kind of throw a disclaimer out there. If Chase looks like Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks, don't be
Yeah.
alarmed.
Um.
He's got some ulcers in his mouth, and he just put some numbing medicine in, so it's made his cheeks a little swollen, and it's gonna be a little difficult for him to talk, but he is a trooper because he still wants to join the episode, but he might not be talking too much.
Yeah.
And he might also type some things in the chat for me and John to interpret for him. But Chase, we do appreciate you coming on
For
regardless.
sure. For sure.
Yeah, the draft was fun. The only
Yeah.
critique that I had is that Acuff went way too high. I think that was an absolute baloney pick from the Sacramento Kings.
Okay. How do I kick
Uh,
Andrew? How do I kick Andrew?
Chase said that. Chase actually typed that in the chat. I was reading what he said.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Andrew, I can read the.
I have so much power now because nobody's gonna know if Chase actually typed something in the chat or not. But Chase,
Speaking of critiques, I do critique myself. I critique with you, Andrew, because you got my hopes up that the Acuff would fall to Atlanta. Knowing me, I know dang well that Sacramento was going to pick him up. So you, Andrew, got my hopes up for nothing. So, but you know what?
Hey.
I'm fine. I'm fine with where Acuff went as an Arkansas fan. I think Sacramento got the best point guard in the draft. Honestly,
they did. Not
but
all joking aside, Acuff is the best guard in the draft.
Yeah.
Hey, if you
best point guard. I don't think Peterson's a point guard. I don't think he's a shooting guard. So I think he is the best guard in the draft. But point guard is Acuff for sure.
Yep.
Brooklyn's gonna honestly pay for passing up on him. But hey, hopefully Mikael Brown works out for them. But I just know that Acuff is going to make Brooklyn pay for passing up on him there. But yeah,
Chase, I think you were going to say something. I don't know. You don't talk if you don't want to. I thought you were trying to say something.
Or type in the chat. It's up to you.
So I'm recording on my phone. I wonder if I type in. Let's test this. Let's have some fun here.
Oh, I mean, the chat should be available for you.
This is like interviewing Stephen Hawking's. The anticipation.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Does it work?
Yeah, it works. It works.
Oh, it does. I see his
Read
chat.
the chat. Read the chat.
Whoa.
Read the chat, big boy. Read the chat.
It says send nudes. That's all it says. It's just send nudes.
Okay. But anyway, so for my start bench cut, I mean, it's not really a start bench cut. I just want y'all to name y'all's top 3 winners of the draft and top 3 losers of the draft. Who do you think won the draft? And who do you think lost? Like maybe made like the worst picks possible, or Andrew, if you're ready, you can start.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's kind of a curveball. I wasn't really expecting an answer.
I wanted to like make it like more like I wanted to make it more like more more than basically. I could have just said like who like more excited to see what the Hawks 3 draft picks, but I want to make it more like make y'all think about a bit more.
Yeah, let me pull up the draft board really quick to get a refresher of everybody's first round picks. I don't know if it's going to be in order or not, but I'll give you my 3 winners of the draft. Chase, do you have yours in mind?
I got
Mm,
mine. I mean, I have mine in mind. If y'all want me to start.
Yeah, John, go ahead and start. Why don't you bat lead off?
Okay, yeah, yeah, sure. I guess I'll start. Yeah. So, obviously, I'm gonna be a bit biased here. Be a bit biased here, like as an Arkansas fan. That's not an order either. I'm gonna say the Kings won the draft. Obviously, I think they got the best the best point guard available. It was something that they need because I mean they don't really have anything. They don't really have any other good point guards. Besides, I don't know if Westbrook's still on the team, but he's washed anyway. He's not that same Westbrook from 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm gonna be like Akoff, like like best 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 point guard of the draft. Should not have honestly should not honestly Brooklyn should have taken him honestly, but they I mean but Brooklyn also didn't need the best point guard in the draft because of how many guards they got last year, with all those draft picks they had last year. So for number two, I'm gonna say the Hawks. I mean, we had three draft picks. I mean, come on, Andrew. I was not gonna say. I wasn't gonna not have the Hawks on here. You know, this is a Hawks podcast. I had to have the Hawks on there. You know, Kings to Flemings, possibly the second or third best point guard, depending on where you want to put Miguel Brown. Um, Personally, I do think he might be the third best. So I think that the Hawks got who they like got the best guy available. And then later on, we did get another forward out of St. John's and Zuby Ejiofor, whenever you say his last name, out of St. John's. You know, that wasn't really a pick that I was expecting. I was expecting the guy that we got in the second round to go 23, but when we got Henrik Visar out of UNC at 52, no, yeah, 52, because we had 57, but we traded back with I think the Clippers. I think we traded back with the Clippers. And the second one to get Visar. I wasn't shocked that no, I wasn't shocked that we got Henry Visar, but like I knew that we were taking Visar when we traded back, and then for my third winner, it's gotta be Washington. You know they got the best player in the draft. It's a guy that they need. They got now they have a lineup of Trey Young, Bilal Koulibaly, Devonsta, Starr, and Davis. I mean that Wizards team is going to be at least a playing team next season for the East. Do you want to go ahead and list your winners before I list my losers, or um,
Yeah, we could do that. We could all do winners and then we'll circle back around do losers. Chase, why not
okay,
you go ahead?
mm, I'm gonna agree with John. With the Atlanta Hawks, of course. For obvious reasons. I think we did. Sorry if I'm covering my mouth. By the way, the,
oh, you're good.
I died like legitimately. I feel like
I
spit's gonna fly out of my mouth.
I can't hear you, Chase. You got to move that mouth. Oh, you have to move that hand. No, I'm
I'm
just
gonna
kidding.
say Hawks because mainly we fixed our issue with the bigs. Getting the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Player of the Year award winner, which goes to the best collegiate center.
Yeah,
And then of course VSAR, man. Oh my goodness, the way we ministered that or maestered that to get a late set or to trade with the Clippers, like John said, to, snag that 7 foot guy from North Carolina, absolute
Did,
monster.
not to cut you off, Chase, but didn't we all have him going in the first round on our mocks?
I had to go 23. That was my actually no. My mock for my mock I didn't have him going to us, but I think it did have him going in the second. I think it did have him going in the
Chase has my
oh
phone, so I can't look at my mock draft, but I know I had him going
yes,
first
yes,
round.
yes. I had for my personal mock draft, I had him 25 to the Lakers. So I mean, yeah.
Mm. Andrew, I went on your camera
I didn't have him
roll.
going to Atlanta, I think I know but like I believe for our mock that we did last week, I think we all collectively had him going 23 to our Hawks. But still, what a shock that he fell all the way to 52. And like, what was weird is that like the news like was saying that we promised him a draft pick or something like that, which is kind of weird. And like, and now he didn't want to play for a two-way contract, which I mean, which which means I don't blame him at all for being a first round talent falling all the way to 52. I don't blame him at all, but what a shocking like fall for him. That was honestly weird. But y'all can go ahead
Go,
and
go, Chase.
Chase. You can continue.
I'm gonna say Chicago Bulls too,
Yeah,
because they fixed their big man issue too. Of course, at the trade deadline last year, they became the smallest team in the NBA, and they are in desperate need of bigs. And not only were they able to get Caleb Wilson, arguably the best big in the draft, of course, they, don't forget the three-team deal. This is pre-draft, of course, that gave them Nick Claxton. So now they have two really good bigs, and all of a sudden Chicago has took really big strides in their future. And of course they got Cam Jones in the set as well, which Dillian Swain didn't mention him. Of course I had him going a little lower in my draft board, but I don't mind him Chicago taking him at 15. Because he was kind of projected around that range. And then, of course, my last winner is going to be OKC because, of course, I think
Hey,
they continue to showcase their GM is probably the best in the league. We thought when they drafted Andy Mora that they drafted Hartenstein's replacement, but then, of course, they snagged Hartenstein on a 3-year deal. So now they have him, Mora, and Chet Holmgren, which is
yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. And then shout out Ben Sturts, the Iowa guy too. I know adding that extra guard. Um, and the trade where they got two future second round picks as well. Um, yeah, they of course they traded Williams to the Hawks, taking off a guard off their bench, and now they got Sturts, who I think they can program into a really good asset off the bench. However, they're going to develop him. I'm sure they're not going to mess it up.
fair enough.
thank
Chase,
you.
well, I will have to say you actually stole one of my teams, which is fine because I expected one of us to say him. But I'll start with someone different. I'll go the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, I had them drafting Caleb Wilson. If there's one thing I can take away from my mock draft, I had a lot of bold takes. And not a lot of them hit, just to be quite honest with you. But they
Yeah,
did get Cameron Boozer. Now, I don't think Cameron Boozer is going to be the best player out of this draft class. I really do think it's going to be Darius Acuff, but I do think Cameron Boozer is going to be the best rookie out of this draft class, and I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year with the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the only reason why I think this was the right move for the Grizzlies, even though I had them drafting Caleb Wilson, because you got to think about, aside of what you think the direction of John Morant is going to be, it's looking like it's more than likely he's going to be sticking around at least for next year for the time being. But can you imagine if they happen to hang on to John Morant long term and they build him around guys like Caleb or Cam Boozer now? They've got Zach Edey, who they got last year, who showed a lot of promise, and a very underrated pick that I don't think anybody's talking about enough, Kareem Lopez. Man, I thought Kareem
yeah,
Lopez was going to go a lot lower than what most people had projected, but I guess the Memphis Grizzlies saw the same promise that I saw in Kareem Lopez, and they decided to just jump on him the moment that they could, and I think that makes them big winners. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because Chase said Oklahoma City. I'm actually not going to spend any time on it because Chase said it perfectly. Everything you need to know about the Thunder GM. He stepped up and did it again. Now, I was thinking about doing the Bulls, but I actually did switch mine over to the Golden State Warriors. I think were really big winners in this draft class. I love Yaxel Lindenberg. I think he was a perfect landing spot for a team like Golden State. Yes, he's a 24-year-old rookie, but he is possibly the best two-way forward that was available in the draft, and he is freakishly athletic for his size. And I think Warriors fans who are looking to grasp onto something for the future after Curry finally moves on and then following him would be Steve Kerr. I think even though Yaxel Lindenberg's going to have a shorter prime than most people in this draft, it's going to be a great paveway to what the Warriors can build on in the future. Because if there's anything that the Warriors lacked this year when they lost the play-in tournament, is they need better bigs, because obviously Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford is not going to be sustainable for a one final championship run for Steph Curry, which is, I think, what the NBA fans deserve and what Warriors fans deserve most. So I think that was a perfect pick for Golden State. But yeah, guys, I guess John, if you wanna go ahead and give us your list of losers, we can all do that as well.
Yeah, so my first loser, and this may come as a shock. I'm gonna say the Mavericks.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I
Oh,
didn't mean to cut you off. Chase wanted me to read these comments and I totally
okay,
forgot.
okay.
So
Yes, Chase, that is a dog. And no, I do not have one of those locked in my basement. Um,
and
it's shoved underneath my bed. Um,
good
um,
answer. Good
and then
answer.
and Lindenberg needs to have Green as a mentor. Yes.
Oh,
But
shut up.
well, I mean,
We don't want Yaxel turning into a Draymond Green. We
Hey,
want all the good qualities.
I was just
I
saying,
mean, like they could
Lindenborg.
actually break out that fight considering Draymond Green went to Michigan State and Lindenberg went to Michigan.
Ooh,
Like, they
yeah,
could
I,
they
break
got
out.
beef
Like,
already.
you never know.
They got
I
Um,
was
beef
just
already.
saying, legitimately, like Lindenborg might be one of the best defensive players in the draft, and,
Yeah,
and honestly, that's awesome for Golden State. He gets to play with Draymond Green. As much as I like to hate on him, he's undoubtedly one of the greatest defenders in NBA history. So
for sure.
imagine how much that's going to elevate his defensive game.
No, you're right. All jokes aside, yeah, that's a great
so
mentor for Yaxel.
so my first loser, I'm gonna have the Mavericks. Kind of a shock because, well, I mean, not really a shock, but like in my opinion, they probably picked the okay. So obviously, like um, Dusty May was hired as the Mavericks' new head coach. So like it was it was it was probably like pretty known that he was going to take at least one of his Michigan guys that he just won an national championship with. But I don't think either one of us knew that it was going to be Morris Johnson Jr. Morris Johnson Jr. I thought that Mara or the Daxel could have gone before Morris Johnson. I think those guys are better. Are both better than Morris. Um, and like or like having like a 7'3" a day Mara on your team could take away what the defense the defense from pressure from putting the pressure on Cooper a year two a year two Cooper Flag. So I'm gonna have a Dallas as my first loser. My second loser, I'm gonna say ooh, I don't really know. Maybe San Antonio because they drafted like two bigs. They drafted Quaitons and they drafted Terrace Reed Ju- Junior. Yes, they need more guys to help out Wembanyama, but I just don't really think that you need to have like two of your first round picks placed on both being used on bigs. I think you need to have like a guard and then a center. Um, and then my third and final loser.
Wait, so
I'm
I'm
gonna have
sorry.
Brooklyn Nets just for passing on Darius Acuff again. Like I said, that was dumb. He's the best point guard in the draft. Um, uh, 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 um, uh, uh, um, um, uh, um, uh, um, um, remember then again, like if you didn't need a true starting point guard because of all the guys that you got last year, I think you could have gotten Kingston Flemings. But so thank you again for letting him fall to Atlanta. But yeah, those are my three losers.
And Jordan, what was the last one? The last team?
Brooklyn Nets.
No, the one before.
Um,
Like your second one. It was the Mavericks, and who
yeah,
was your second
Spurs.
one again?
Spurs.
Spurs.
The Spurs. That's right.
Spurs.
Okay,
Yeah, because
that's
they
right. All right.
drafted two bigs.
Mavericks, Spurs,
They got
and Nets.
Clayton's, and they got Terrence Reed Jr. out of UConn.
All right, Chase.
I'm gonna go with the John. I'm agree with you with the Mavericks, of course.
Yeah,
Getting Perez
pretty easy pick.
Johnson. And the thing is to your point, John. Supposedly the reason they went with Morris Johnson was because they wanted a really good lockdown defender that could kind of play in all defensive standpoints.
Oh, okay.
But I would argue that Lindenborg and Mora is a better defender than Morris
That's
Johnson.
what I'm saying.
Yaxell should have been their pick.
So if that's the case, why not go Yaxel and even why not go Mora? Um,
I'm saying
because
more for height. I mean, why pass on? Why pass on a 7'3" big? Who in
exactly.
the right mind would not pass on that? I know we did, but we got our franchise point guard now.
And
So
it's also just, and Morris Johnson is like very limited in terms of offensive ability. So they're going to get little to non offensive production out of him too. Versus Lindenborg and Mora, you would have gotten a lot more.
Yep.
Um, and to be honest, I only have one more loser. I don't. I think there's only two really big losers here in the not big losers, but I'm gonna say the New York Knicks. And the reason
I like that. I love their first pick.
the reason I'm going to say it, well, they didn't pick until number 39. Because to be honest, I didn't think they were ever going to pick. Because every time it got to their pick, they kept trading back
Oh,
and
I
back
well,
and
to be
forgot
back.
they
fair,
traded
they
Cameron
did
Carr to
win
the
the
Lakers.
championship. To
I
be fair, they
forgot
did
they
win
I
the
forgot they
championship.
traded Cameron Carr to the Lakers. I
Yeah.
totally forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
The reason I'm calling them losers is because I understand James Dolan, their owner, did that he's refusing to go into the second apron to pay these guys. So because they're so close, and the luxury tax and all that, they're trying to get rid of financial constraints, which is the main reason why they kept trading back and back. But I think they missed a really big opportunity to at least get some talent in a really loaded draft that could help sustain them into a dynasty.
Like
Um,
another big. Could have gone another
exactly,
big.
exactly, and I think they really passed up on that chance. But
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I think now, whether or not this may be controversial, because I kind of feel bad putting this team on here, but I think now calling them losers is a little pushy. I don't think loser is the right word, but I'm very disappointed in their draft approach, given what they just let go of. And I'm going to put the Milwaukee Bucks on this list. Now, again, I feel bad for doing it because I understand what they were going for.
Is good. Could be the perfect guy to replace Giannis.
No, well, it's not that. I'll explain. So the picks weren't bad. Like Braden Burris, he's a really nice off-ball guard. He can shoot, he can defend. I think he'll be a solid fit next to an emerging star. Now, I don't think any of these guys have really high upsides. Like Nate Emmett was not my favorite pick for the Milwaukee Bucks, to be honest. I don't think his value was that big coming out of college anyways, which is why I had him slipping on my mock draft. I think the Bucks should have just gone a different direction. I really think the Bucks did well in the Giannis trade, but they have to nail their picks to make the rebuild work. And I don't think any of the guys they drafted are enough. I think what the Bucks should have been looking for is instead of using their depth to get role players, look, I'm not hating on any of these guys. I just think that guys like Braden Burris and Nate Emmett are just going to be really solid role players. I don't think any of them have the potential to be those star replacements that I think the Bucks should have been looking for when they are drafting post Giannis. Because you got to take a look at like Braden Burris, for example, who they drafted. I think a better pick than Braden Burris actually would have been Yaxel Lindenberg. I think Hannes Steinbach out of Washington would have been a better pick than Nate Engman. I think those guys portray a more star potential, and especially Hannes Steinbach, because he kind of had to play that role in Washington anyways. All these other guys had way too many sort of supporting casts, and they were coached under guys where they are pretty much cemented to be role players right where they were. So that's what they're going to be coming out of the gate. Now, again, I could be wrong. That's just my eye line when I'm looking at the Milwaukee Bucks draft board. But I hope they prove me wrong because that franchise needs some help. Now, another loser that I have, and I'm going to go ahead and agree with you guys for the Dallas Mavericks. I think the Dallas Mavericks definitely should have gone Yaxel. So I'm going to add the Los Angeles Lakers to my pick. Now, I think a lot of people like Cameron Carr. Now that's a trade back that I don't think the Lakers really needed. I think that was more for the Knicks, like Chase mentioned, because he is a great off-ball shooter. I really think Cameron Carr should have gone a lot higher. I just worry that he's just going to get plunged by everybody else on that roster. And I really think that Cameron Carr is going to benefit a lot from this, but not the Lakers at all. And what I mean by that, I think he's going to have like a Lonzo Ball arc, just with much more upside. I think by year 2 or 3, we're going to see Cameron Carr on a completely different team because that's not what the Lakers need. And there's going to be no way that a guy like Cameron Carr is going to be able to reach his potential on a team like the Lakers. You could even look at it like a Jonathan Kuminga situation. So much upside, but so little room to explore. And I think the Lakers are so preoccupied right now by what they've got in front that I think Cameron Carr is going to get lost in this rabbit hole of him trying to find his way on a team that has no place for him to begin with. So I think it was a really bad spot for Cameron Carr and just a really unfortunate move for the Los Angeles Lakers because he does have so much upside. I just don't see any reality where Cameron Carr is going to be able to shine in Lake Town. So I think because of that reason, the Lakers are going to walk out this draft with pretty much nothing. And it's unfortunate, but I think Cameron Carr is going to benefit this more than the Lakers themselves, which makes them losers. So yeah, that's my take.
Okay. I guess before we get into to some other Hawks news, I guess because we are down in the dead of the off season. I mean, we got free agency coming up in a few days. But as of right now, it's dead. Besides some trades that have happened, which I guess we'll get into. I mean, like I guess like the first trade we can get into is the trade that happened the night before the draft. Giannis was finally traded, not to the team that we thought he was traded to Miami. But I think we all thought that he was traded to. I think we all were agreeing that Boston was going to trade Jalen Brown and some draft capital for Giannis, but that didn't happen. Miami had the better. Miami, I guess, has a better. What you know, Miami by far has a better. Miami by far has a better uh, 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 trade capital. But I just want to get your thoughts on it on that trade on the honest trade.
You got Chase. You got first
Um,
up.
I guess I'll just say, yeah, I understand why they went with Miami instead of Boston because Boston made it very clear that they want or that their only offer was what they're gonna offer Jalen Brown and
They're
correct
rapping
me
on
if I'm
Jalen
wrong.
Brown and some other people, but Milwaukee wanted they wanted they also wanted Baylor Shireman and Hugo um 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 Hugo Gonzalez and some draft capital, which
Yeah,
I guess Boston was not wanting to give that all up.
yeah, yeah, they wanted Jalen Brown, and I know multiple picks, but Boston was very limited on how many picks they were going to give him, and that really turned down Milwaukee's interest in trading with Boston, which is ultimately why they went with Miami because Miami sent them way more in terms of draft capital, which since they're going full rebuild, that's ultimately what they're looking for. So and I like the package that Milwaukee got too. And honestly, Milwaukee has a fun roster this upcoming season, and it's going to be interesting to see what direction they go from here. But yeah, I mean, I like it for both sides, of course. Um, I'll say this. I kind of said it last episode. I'm gonna be bold enough to say it again. I think Giannis on Miami is fun, but I don't think they have a deep enough roster to
Yeah.
win a championship at least this year.
It's
Um,
basically the Kevin Durant 2.0, honestly. It's basically Kevin Durant
it feels that
2.0.
way.
Yeah, with what
It
they did
feels
with
that way.
Phoenix. With
And
what, yeah.
yeah, it feels that way. And they got Bobby Portis too. And I did hear some rumors that they're gonna try to get Duncan Robinson to come back to Miami as well, which that would be pretty crazy if they can get that. I doubt that's gonna happen though. But I mean, as of right now, I have Miami ceiling as a second round elimination in the playoffs. And unless they get some more debt on that bench, I don't see him going any further.
My, this is all I can really think about post Giannis trade. Now, me and Chase were actually having a conversation after church today with our good buddy Angel. I know we've mentioned him a few times in the episodes before. He's a big Knicks fan we go to church with. What we were talking about the Giannis trade, and the point that I brought to him. I think this is a very disrespectful thing from the Boston Celtics. Now, Boston
Oh,
didn't get what they wanted. They went after Giannis, didn't get what they wanted. But they're still, even after that, they are still trying to find every possible route to dish out Jaylen Brown. I think this is
here's the thing, though.
well, let me get past this point. Let me get that
Yeah.
past point. So I think this is a big mistake for Boston. I think it's a huge mistake for Boston. They needed to put Jaylen Brown on the table for Giannis, but they did not get him. And I think trying to push him for somebody less than Giannis is going to be a really big mistake. Because you got to think about what Jaylen Brown did for the Boston Celtics the year that Jason Tatum was sidelined because of Achilles injury. The Celtics were expected to be at the bottom of the East when Tatum went down. But because Jaylen Brown had to be the main guy to run that offense, they were as competitive as ever. And they finished second in the East that year. And when the playoffs ended, they were just one Jason Tatum injury away from winning game 7. And that could have brought them that championship. Jaylen Brown stepped up when it mattered the most and proved that he can be the best player of a playoff contender. And if any team tries to trade for him, I think the only one that was willing to make an offer worth Jaylen Brown was Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't think there's anyone better that they can get from Jaylen Brown. So anything else is just going to be a downgrade. And I think getting rid of Jaylen Brown and leaving Jason Tatum with whoever they get for a Jaylen Brown trade is only going to do them worse than what they have right now, because there is no better duo I would rather pair Jason Tatum with than Jaylen Brown. A, they've got the chemistry, and B, we've seen them make a finals run before, or an Eastern Conference Finals run before. And I can't imagine a world where they make this Jaylen Brown trade worth anyone more than Giannis. So I think it's just downright disrespectful that they're trying to push just somebody for Jaylen Brown, even if it's less than Giannis, because I think they're criminally undervaluing Jaylen Brown's potential or productivity, so put it. So that's why I think it's stupid. But John, I know you were going to say something. What'd you have?
Well, I mean, what can they do? Because Jalen Brown's already upset that he's been mentioned. I don't know, like trade talks, which already proved that he could be a number one on a team. I'm just like, at this point, you send. At this point, the damage has already been done onto the relationship between Jaylen Brown and the Celtics front office. It's like at this point you gotta trade him at this point. Because you already mentioned him in the biggest trade the Boston could do, and Jaylen Brown's upset. He's pretty upset.
He could be upset,
especially that year he just had. I mean, like you said, I mean, like you just said, like, especially as a year he just had. Why would you trade that? So I mean,
I mean, it was for Giannis. I think Jalen Brown has to be okay with that because as good as Jalen Brown is, I would trade him for Giannis.
well, yeah, we've been like also like, does the Giannis and Tatum fit? Well, does that work for Boston? I don't. There are two ball dominant forwards. I
I
don't think
think
so.
I think with the way that Derek White and and Pritchard played for them last year, I think them two alone could fill the void for Jalen Brown and make a Tatum and Antetokounmpo front work because that would be one of the best front courts in the NBA history.
Probably the best.
Yeah, so I think they
Probably
were
the
willing to
best.
make some tweaks if they had to, and I understand. But Jalen Brown's going to have to be okay with that because Jalen Brown is phenomenal, but he's not better than Giannis, and I think he knows that as well. Uh, Chase, do you have anything you want to add to that statement? Oh,
Oh, he
uh,
okay. He did. He said something.
yeah, he
I would
said
be.
I.
I would be.
Oh, go, John.
I mean, it says that I would be bold, even be bold to say that Boston holds Brown back when Tatum is healthy. I would feel a little disrespectful if I was Brown and I would want to go off on my own and grow into the player that we all know he be. That's exactly what I'm saying. He's pissed that Boston was mentioning him in trades. After the year, just had carrying Boston to a 2 seed and almost winning, and almost moving into the second round. With an injured Tatum. Jalen Brown has proven himself to be a one on a probably a mid tier team, honestly. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree with you, Chase. There, I yeah, that's exactly what I was on. And that's honestly probably what I was trying to say. Honestly, so I think you just took my words and made it better. Honestly, yeah, that's great.
He added
Yeah,
something else. He said Andrew is right. Oh, thank you, Chase.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I think that went without saying, but thanks, Chase.
yeah.
I
I
appreciate
could. You know what? Yeah, I'll say it in the chat.
it.
Um,
uh, yeah. Good talks. Good talks. What's next on the list, John?
yeah. So I mean, there's not really. I mean, we do also have. So, well, actually, uh, actually, we'll continue on with the trades that happened. So yeah. There was that trade, and then what? I think we need to talk about. I think we need. I think we need to talk about. I think we need to talk about. What Charlotte has been doing, blowing up the team after the year that they've had. Like, what are they doing? Like, I understand. Like, maybe Miles Bridges because he's been there for a while, and I mean, he's like they've got Brandon Miller and the rookies, but trading LaMelo Ball, your best player, why?
Chase, I think you brought up a good point. We also talked about this at church with Angel, and Chase brought up a really good point. I don't know if you want to type it in the chat or if you want to say it, but I think
Uh,
Chase had a very good point about that.
I'll say it, and dude, my lips are killing me. I'll say it,
I
Andrew.
can tell. You look like you're in pain.
I'll say it, and I'll let you talk about it. Cause,
Okay.
yeah, cause I think we're kind of on the same wavelength here, maybe a little bit. Um, I think in hindsight, Charlotte won that trade. I think the package they got, I think Charlotte is going in the right direction. I think they kind of understood that okay, maybe not.
We're not on the same wavelength, but go ahead.
So,
I'll present your point.
just real quick, we say pray for the Minnesota PR team for Ant and Lamelo.
Yes, yes,
We say pray
please.
for the Minnesota PR
It's a bad day to be a Minnesota police
They
fan.
all
might.
the stuff we got to like start reteaching to Lamelo and Ant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I with every game with every home game they might have, someone might lose their life on the road. Due to
Driving the Minnesota snow, LaMelo Ball, that's gonna suck. He's gonna.
Ooh, he's gonna be swerve bit in them corners, baby.
Oh yeah, dude.
hey,
No.
if you get in a wreck with Lamelo, don't worry about it. His agent will take care of it. Um,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
But I think Charlotte understood that they've been on a hamster wheel for years. And I think they knew that it was gonna continue to be that way with Lamelo, only because they could never surround him with talent. So I think
They
they
just did last year.
but I think they were forced to make a decision on what direction they wanted to go, and I think they made the right one. It seems a little odd because last year was the best season they had in years, but how much are you saying when losing in the play-in is your best season in years? And I think they fully
Because they've
understand
been
that.
bottom of the East. Um, 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 because like they've been like bottom of the East for the past like 3 or 4 seasons. They've been bottom.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're wasting Lamelo's prime and they're wasting their time. And I think they understand that
Hey,
if
you're
they
right.
bars. If they want to actually make strides to become true contenders in the East, they kind of need to start over with a different core. And I think they're going to use Brandon Miller, Con Knuple, and who they just picked up in this year's draft as their new core. And I promise you, it's way more sustainable that way because now you're surrounding your team and laying a foundation with three really solid players versus one really selfish superstar. And you take it away.
Yeah, well, I think me and you have somewhat of a wavelength, Chase. I
Oh,
think you see it as kind of a win for the Hornets and a loss for the Timberwolves.
No, no,
I
no, no.
see it.
It's not a loss for the Timberwolves.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
it's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah. I
win
didn't
for
mean to
both
say that.
sides.
I didn't mean to say that. Yeah, I know what you mean. You just say that you like the side for the Hornets. I think it's a lose lose. I think it's a bad trade for both parties. I think this is a lose lose trade here, for both Minnesota and Charlotte because it makes no sense for either side. I don't see why Charlotte, who took a real now I understand what you're saying, Chase. I really do. I think you make valid points. This is just my viewpoint on it. I don't see why Charlotte, who took a real step forward last year, would want any type of business to trade their young point guard, who honestly was the guy on the roster who created those shots for them and for his teammates. And he was an assist machine last season, probably the best season he's had in his career, mainly because of how many assists he averaged that season. But I understand it even less for the Minnesota Timberwolves because I think this trade is just, I don't know. I feel like the Timberwolves would probably, I don't, it's really tough to make this make sense because for the going back to the Hornets, I'll circle back around, but going back to the Hornets, this is the statement that the Hornets made to their fan base. Kobe White is a better future point guard for this team than LaMelo, which fine. I'm okay with that statement. I think Kobe
but he's
White could be a
older.
better guard than LaMelo Ball. But
He's older than
this
LaMelo. He's
this
older.
is what gets me. They are further away from contention now than they were going into this offseason. And I think losing that much talent for picks, because mind you, the picks they got from Minnesota are 7 years from now. That is way too deep to pull a team that looked dangerous right where they were. It was maybe only a couple moves away from something special because Ball, he is an infuriating player to watch. I am not a LaMelo Ball fan, but one thing I will say, aside from the ridiculous shots that he takes, he is so immersively talented and he is one of the best pressures in the league. And when he's not even making shots, like I mentioned earlier, he's coming off the best season of his career when it comes to sharing the ball. So I think my biggest issue for the Hornets side of things is they gambled what could have been such a strong future now for something they're going to have to wait 7 years for.
But
And that's just 7 more years of purgatory that they
I think
just dug themselves out of.
I think if they kept LaMelo, they would have had. This is what they were playing for here. They keep LaMelo, they probably have 5, 6 more years of mediocre basketball. That the highest seed they might get is a fifth seed in the Eastern Conference. Versus take a step back now for the better chance that you build a stronger core that could sustain you for actual East contenders for years to come. That's the decision they had to make here, and they made the right one.
Okay, well, what about the Timberwolves? Because I do see what you're saying about that. I just don't think it's worth waiting another 7 more years. But for
Hey,
the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think what's that?
I will be right back. Y'all keep going. I'm about to step off for just a minute, but y'all keep going.
Okay. Yeah, so going back to the Timberwolves, I think this is even worse for the Minnesota Timberwolves because
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball just sounds like a disastrous backcourt duo. But I really think it just goes beyond that. I think the surrounding cast is going to be affected way more than just Anthony Edwards. Because think about it, the Minnesota Timberwolves just paid a bag for
I
Ayo
mean,
and combine that massive salary cap with what they're giving Julius Randle, who for the
I
most
would.
part has been
Well,
really underwhelming since he's been in Minnesota. And
well, then,
now, well, looking at Minnesota's roster now, three of their best four players are all guards, and none of those guards are small. So, and you got to think about Jaden McDaniels, who just had one of his best seasons. He's now forced to slide into a role that he's not comfortable with just so they can make room for LaMelo Ball. And then doing that is going to ruin the progression of Jaden McDaniels. And I don't think that's worth LaMelo Ball at all because not only are you in a big salary cap mess now, you now just regress one of your best rising stars around Anthony Edwards. And I think that's why I think it's a lose-lose. I don't think any team benefits from this trade whatsoever.
I mean,
Not
I'll
at all.
agree with your second statement that are like affecting the rest of the team. But I think, I mean, I think as a backward duo, I think that's one of the most dangerous.
I think it's going to
But,
be such a mess because I,
but
I look, Trey Young and DeJounte Murray proved what happens when you put two ball hungry people on one team. Anthony
yeah,
Edwards wants to be the star of the team, but just as much as LaMelo. And we all know how much of an ego LaMelo Ball has. He's not going to want to be the shadow of Anthony Edwards. And I think that's just going to cause way too much problems than it's going to
I mean,
solve.
he technically already is because those guys were in the same draft class. They were both in the 2020 draft class where Edwards went 1 to Minnesota and LaMelo went 3 to Charlotte. So I mean, like
Exactly.
he's already like in that shadow. He's already like been viewed as not. He's already been viewed as not like not as good as. Uh, uh, I'm not as good as Edwards, which mean like that's been like we know that he's not as good as Anthony Edwards, but I
But
mean,
that could cause problems. That could cause
yeah,
problems because Lamelo's whole arc since he's been in the NBA is him trying to prove everybody wrong. And if one person makes a comment about Lamelo Ball being Anthony Edwards' shadow on the Timberwolves, that's just going to cause problems for them. Maybe not on the court, but it's definitely going to cause problems in the locker room, and that's going to result on court. I think what's going to end up happening is that the Charlotte Hornets are going to be in purgatory for the next 5 years, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to end up dishing out both LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards and starting completely from scratch. I think this trade is an absolute disaster. But
so
with
yeah.
that being said, John, does that make Anthony Edwards to the Atlanta Hawks more possible? I think it could.
It could, but again, what do we give up?
Well, that's a good question because I'm not really sure. I mean, we're definitely going to have to get rid of probably It depends on how early this happens. Because if this is something that can happen within the next 2 years, we're gonna have to end up giving up like Jalen Johnson, which is going to suck. It's
I
going to
don't.
suck.
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to give up Jalen Johnson. I'm sorry. I don't.
I don't either. I don't either. But I think for a guy like Anthony Edwards, that's the only possible way the Timberwolves are going to make that work. Because by them giving up Anthony Edwards, they're going to go full rebuild. And they're going to want a guy they can build around. And Jalen Johnson is the only guy we have. Unless we give up like Kingston Flemings. But that would just be pointless for Minnesota. Because who knows what Fleming's going to be in the
Maybe
next
get
year.
Nall back to Minnesota.
Yeah, they're not going to want Nah back for
maybe do
y'all.
that. Maybe give no. Maybe ship Nall, Dyson, uh, uh, maybe some picks.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna want some picks. I don't know. I'm just daydreaming over here.
So real quick, so while Chase gets back here, there is one more move I wanted to go over. It was a free agency re-signing. Austin Reeves back to the Lakers for 4 years, 185 million. Don't like it or do like it?
I like it. I think he was overpaid, but I think he deserves it. Now, the reason why I say he's overpaid, I'm happy for him because Austin Reeves is one of my
he's white. Andrew, is that why? He's white.
No. Listen, I think Austin Reeves he's one of my favorite guards of the NBA. I'm so happy for him, but I think the Lakers could have gotten him for so much less because I don't think. I don't know. I think the Lakers probably could have taken $15 million off of that, and they would have still ended up with Austin Reeves.
I mean, but like, here's the thing, though. Like, here's the thing, though. Without LeBron or Luka, who's your best player? It's Reeves.
Oh, 100%. 100%. That's why I like it.
Like once LeBron retires, because like once LeBron,
but you're wrong.
Leaves or retires, it's gonna be Bridge and Luka.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
What?
Austin Reeves won't be the next best player. You're forgetting about Bronny James.
Oh my God! Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Buddy forgot about Bronny James over here.
Yeah. I forgot about that. But yeah.
No, you're right.
Chase, what are your thoughts on the Austin Reeves back to the Lakers? Do you think he was overpaid like Andrew thinks, or do you think because he's white he deserves the money?
Yes, John, I believe in white privilege. I'm just kidding. I'm joking, guys. Joke. That was a joke. Please, YouTube, please don't demonetize this episode.
Buddy was gone for 10 minutes and instantly dropped a one-liner that's going to get us banned.
YouTube, this is just a joke. It was just a joke. I'm just kidding.
You better get talking. You better drop that shovel.
Yeah, I think he was overpaid, and I won't say much about it. I think Andrew said exactly perfectly. Great signing. Austin Reeves is something they definitely needed to give that long contract extension to, but I think they definitely could have gone away with paying him a much cheaper contract. But I mean, good for him though. I mean, that's a bag for Austin Reeves for sure. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying if I'm the Lakers, I would not have. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what kind of negotiations went on. I wouldn't imagine that they were offering that much off the rip. He probably wanted a little more, and they probably met somewhere in the middle. But if I'm the Lakers, I'd try to sign him for a little less. But definitely not a bad signing. It's just I do think a tad bit overpaid.
Whoever his agent is deserves a raise because he got that boy a bag.
Yeah, did y'all see the picture of him on the golf course when he found out he got that contract?
Yeah, he was like on the ground. He couldn't believe
he was on his hands and knees in the middle of a golf green because his agent called him in the middle of his golf round and told him how much his contract was, and Buddy was he collapsed on the golf course. He could not believe it.
I mean, good for him though. I love Austin.
Yeah, I know for real. I mean, So before we close out, we do have some Hawks news that just broke a few minutes ago. Hield is coming back. Hield is coming back. We did
okay.
We did opt to keep him, but it's not a permanent resolution, meaning we could trade him. We could we could we could have signed him to trade him. Chase, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just gonna say he is the hottest cheerleader in the NBA, so I cannot be
Uh,
more excited.
yeah, I mean, um, 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 I mean, yeah, that's probably why we resign him. So that way he doesn't. So that way he doesn't. Just walk for nothing because we know how talented he is, but like. I mean, we just aren't really using him, except for being a shoe, like Chase just said. Andrew, what are your thoughts on this news?
I'm just gonna say what I really hope happens out of this is that Buddy Hield gets more minutes off the bench because I really think aside from being a great cheerleader, Buddy Hield is still to this day underappreciated even at his age right now. I think he can play a much bigger role coming off the
He's
bench,
only
and I
30.
really
I mean, like he's not even that old. He's 33. He's not even that
yeah
old.
I really hope that the Atlanta Hawks give him at least like a 7 to 8 minute boost off the bench so we can see a little bit more out of him.
I understand that he has a little bit of history of injury. But I think you're right. I think we can definitely make good use of him. He reminds me of a Kent Bazemore, a really good shooter that we can have off the bench. And I know we joke around about the cheerleader comments, but in all seriousness, that's not a bad thing. To be that, we need that type of energy off on and off the court. That is a great locker room presence. A guy who can legitimately put some positive vibes in the locker room. If things if we have a little bit of a downward spiral during the season, he can be the guy to lighten the mood and get everybody back in the right mindset. It's good to have that type of leader in the locker room. But if we can get him some minutes, I still believe a lot in his shooting abilities. And I think he can be a sneaky 3-point weapon off the bench. So I do really hope we find some more room for him.
Do y'all remember Kent Bazemore's? I saw an Instagram post about like what was your favorite Kent Bazemore moment as an Atlanta Hawk, and I made a comment about Kent Bazemore's buzzer beater against the New Orleans Pelicans, and nobody remembers that. Nobody ever remembers him
I
hitting a
remember.
buzzer beater.
I
You remember
remember.
that?
Yep.
Yeah, I
It
put
was at home. It was a mid range too.
yeah, I put it in the comments, and people started replying to my comment. They're like, "Dude, he never hit a buzzer beater against the Pelicans." I'm like, "What are you talking about?
It
Look
was
it up
he.
on
It
YouTube."
was a mid range shot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Home game against the Pelicans, hit a mid range shot at the buzzer. Yeah.
But I was like, people thought I was making that up. I was like, no, I vividly remember I
Yep.
was playing Fortnite and I had the game on my phone, and I remember him hitting that buzzer
Yep.
beater. Like I
Yep.
vividly remember that happening.
I sure do.
Yeah, that was just a little side comment.
So some last news that I would like to bring. We do have our summer league schedule as well.
Yep.
So on July 4th, we will be playing against the Jazz. So Darren Pearson versus Kingston Flemings. On the 6th, we will be playing the Thunder. So Kingston Flemings versus Day Mara and Bennett Sturts. On the 9th, we play the Spurs. I can't remember exactly the yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. Well, I don't know if Quaintance will be playing because I think he's injured, right? Isn't Jaden Quaintance injured? I think.
I don't. I know he was. I don't know if he is now. Let me look it up real quick.
Anywho, our last summer game is July 11th. The Hogs versus the Brooklyn Nets. So Mikel Brown Jr. versus Kingston Flemings, the two guys that went before and after. I'm gonna wait. The two guys that went in between Darius Acuff. So that would be somewhat interesting because those are the other two guys that the Hawks either could have had. Because those
It
guys, I
said
believe, either would have went 5 or 7. So
for sure. Yeah, it said that.
I mean a 6 or 8. I mean a 6 or 8 because Darius went 7. So
Yeah, it says that he is recovering from an ACL tear, but he's expected to get minutes during the summer league. So we'll
really,
see how that goes. Um, It didn't go into much detail. I just said that he's expected to make an appearance in summer league. So not really sure how much minutes that's going to allude to because I know recovering from an ACL tear is quite extreme. So we'll see how the Spurs decide to play that. And I will say as well the preseason schedule for the
Yeah, I
Atlanta
was just
Hawks
going to bring
was
it up as
awesome.
well.
Sorry. You go ahead. Yeah, you
No,
go right ahead.
you go. No, you go.
Chase, do you have any summer league
Oh wait,
thoughts?
no, wait, no, hold on. I'm sorry. I got the summer league schedule wrong. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was looking at. It's the Spurs, Nets, um, Celtics, and the Grizzlies. I don't know why. I don't know what ESPN was telling me, but this is off the Hawks Instagram. Um, it's July 9th, the Spurs, July 11th, the Nets, July 13th, the Celtics, and July 16th, the Grizzlies. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Any summer league thoughts, Chase? Okay. Preseason schedule?
Do you want to talk about it, Andrew?
I mean, I'll just list it off. I
Yeah.
guess that's yeah. October 5th, we play at home against the Memphis Grizzlies. So Cameron Boozer will be in State Farm Arena. Then we play at San Antonio on the 8th of October. I know we were just talking about Jaden. And then we got the on the 10th of October, we're back at home against the I'm sorry, no, we're on the road against the Indiana Pacers. And then we come back home on the 12th against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then October the 16th, we cap out the preseason on the road against the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
But by the way, it's just a little side note. What y'all thinking about these Hawks hat? These draft hot. This is the draft hat edition for this year of the NBA. The Atlanta. Each team got their own little chain on the side that has like their own little.
That's my only
logo on
critique.
it.
Why is it chain on the side? Why is it not on the back or the front or something? That's
I don't
my
really
only
know.
critique. That's my
I
only
like
critique.
that.
I know that I didn't buy one because I'm broke. Because again, I spent a lot of money in the Dominican Republic, so I didn't spend a lot of money at this thing. But thank you guys for all the stuff y'all got me, like the drinks and stuff. I appreciate
Hey,
it.
you earned it. You earned it.
Yeah, and you know what, Chase, I will let you redeem yourself next time I host. Next time I host an episode, I will have a little maybe a trivia or something that you can redeem yourself, so that way I can get you something at the next Hawks event we go to, whether it be a game, the fan fest, if we go back to that. But yeah. You know what? For my closing remarks, I guess I'll ask all this question. Which rookie are you most excited to see play this upcoming season?
I'm gonna say Darian Peterson for the Utah
Well,
Jazz.
well, I meant for the Hawks, honestly.
Oh, I thought you
Like,
just meant
okay,
overall. My bad.
okay. Two answers. Which overall rookie are you excited to see play, and which Hawks rookie are you excited to see play? I'm sorry.
Um,
I'm sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. I'm gonna say Darren Pearson for Utah, just because Utah, for the past couple of years, have had one of the best offenses in the NBA. It's just their defense that's very weak. But adding in my opinion, I think the best scorer in the draft, Darren Peterson, to that roster is gonna be a whole lot of fun. They just need defense, man. They have no defense, but they'll get that eventually. And then for the Hawks, I mean Kingston Flemings, because just because of his defense abilities, pairing him alongside, having him off the bench to follow up Dyson Daniels, if at some point you want to have him on the court simultaneously as well. I mean, the defensive standards for the Hawks just raised through the roof, especially with the two bigs we got as well. So I'm so excited to see how much Kingston Flemings adds to the defensive roster the Hawks already have.
Yeah, I'll shine some light on Zuby Ejiofor or Ejiofor. Personally wanted the Hawks to draft Chris Scenic Jr. out of Houston with the 23rd pick and get the Flemings and Scenic Jr. duo back together. But I was shed some love for Ejiofor. I think he was very effective at St. John, and I think that his I think he'll have a quick progression to the NBA, mainly because of who his coach was at St. John's. And I think
Yeah.
defense is 100% going to be his calling card, which, of course, I talked about a lot leading up to the draft. That if there's anything I want the Hawks to focus on this upcoming draft, it's defense. And that is 1,000% what we did with Flemings and Ejiofor. Now, for the team, the rookie that I'm looking forward to seeing the most that's not Hawks related, I really like Kareem Lopez. I think Kareem Lopez, I think, like I said, I projected him to go higher than where he actually went. But I think that he is probably going to be one of the most exciting players to watch, mainly because he has a lot of pride in his nationality. And I think that translates a lot to the aggressive tone. Just think about Jeremy Lin. When Jeremy Lin first touched the NBA court and how much he wanted to prove, but not so much for himself, but also what he was representing back at home. And I think Kareem Lopez is going to be ready to put on that same show. And I think we're going to see a lot of insane highlights from Kareem Lopez this upcoming season, and might even see him make some all-star appearances down the road. Who knows?
I mean, that might be tough having Boozer there, but I mean, I'm Boozer there, but like, I mean, I'm not gonna like root against the guy, obviously. So I think I'll know who my like overall like non-Hawks rookie I'm gonna be rooting for is.
LeJay Jones,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, LeJay
um,
Jones. I understand. LeJay
you
Jones
know
is
what?
going to be my pick too.
I
I
was gonna.
understand. I like taking LeJay Jones pick, yeah.
No, guys, I was gonna say freaking. I was gonna say Robert McRae, but whatever.
He
Um,
technically
Hey, LA
wasn't
Laker now.
drafted though.
Signed by the LA Lakers.
Oh, I know
um,
exactly. I know what he's going to say. Braden Burris. Yeah, I knew you
Oh,
were going to
he's
say
a
Braden
big
Burris.
brain burst guy. That's right.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
yeah, no, okay. So for my Hawks rookie, I'm not gonna agree with y'all. We're gonna have different guys. I'm really excited to see the Sar out of UNC, just because I mean, he
What
honestly
a
should not have
steal.
fallen that. He honestly should not have fallen that far to us.
No.
We either should have gotten him at 23, or we should have traded way back into the first, way up into the second round for him. He should not have fallen that far. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I mean, I'm like even concerned like the rumors saying that he doesn't want to play on a 2 week contract, which is true because we did sign him to a full standard contract, so he's not going to be sent down to the G League. Uh, well, I don't, and he might honestly be our our second center off the bench behind a Kongwu. Um, but just to get the out of the era, and as you might know, might, and as y'all could have guessed, or maybe not could have guessed, the NBA rookie that I'm most excited to see that's not a Hawk. Malik, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say Sun Joiner? Did you say Sun
It's
Joiner?
Darius Acuff Jr. out of Arkansas. I mean, he was the best point guard in the draft, in my opinion, and in many other guys' opinion. And I think he will be the best Kings point guard, in recent history. Because I mean, we all know what
Could
happened.
say of all time. Could say of all time. I
He
don't
has
think that'd be a bad
he
take
has
either.
bus written all over him.
All time that might be a stretch, but hey, like I said, I'm rooting for the guy. I really hope he brings the Kings to a decent playoff success. But yeah, does anyone else have any closing remarks?
My NBA comparison to Darius Acuff would have to be someone along the lines of like um Patrick Beverly, but I'm talking about overseas,
Like the
like
Israel Patrick
overseas
Beverly.
Israel Patrick Beverly
That's
Hey
would be
that's
Anthony,
a
can
my.
you do what you did to me to Chase, please?
yeah. Anyways,
Okay, Chase. Why you can't respond to me? Don't you dare compare Darius Acuff to Patrick Beverly. The only reason you're doing this is because Patrick Beverly went to Arkansas. And Arkansas fans don't even. Well, maybe they do can still claim him, but I don't claim Patrick Beverly as a Razorback anymore. He's doing that. He's doing the university a disservice because of all this Trae Young disrespect. So don't you?
Hey, but
dare.
y'all got Joe Johnson. Y'all got Joe Johnson, so it makes
Yeah,
sense.
we do.
That's
do.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We got Joe Johnson, Anthony Black, who else can I name? Malik Thomas, loads more point guards. But yeah. Andrew, you got anything else to say?
I think we about covered it, man. This was a great episode.
All right. If anyone else has anything else to say, thank you guys again for tuning in to another episode of Talking ATL Hawks, and we will see you guys next week. Cool.